What's up, guys? This is Max from HardwareHobbyist.com, and I'm going to start these unboxings right now with the 800D case from Corsair. And again, these are going to be unboxings of parts that I'm using for a build for one of my friends, and it is our first client build that we're doing. So I'm going to keep these short and sweet. I'm not going to show you the whole process, like dragging it out of the box and stuff. One, because I don't have Bill here with me, and just to keep the videos short, because I know the other unboxing videos were pretty long. So I'm just gonna I'm also gonna take pictures along the way, so I'm gonna have to pause and do stuff like that. So I hope these flow better than the other ones did and are still very informative to you guys. So let's get started. Alright, so here's the case itself out of the box. As far as packaging goes, you get a very nice, beautiful box from Corsair, and then inside there are two styrofoam sections that go on the top and bottom of the case, and then the case itself is wrapped in a plastic bag to protect it from any scratches or any other kinds of damage. And then on the case itself you have these layers of sort of adhesive plastic protection to protect the window, and on the front to protect the textured metal finish. And the case itself is a very nice case. I'm going to leave the plastic on, I believe, for forever, until I'll let the customer take it off, because I want to keep the case as nice as possible. So hopefully that's possible. I believe it's possible, even though we're doing like lighting and stuff like that. I believe I should be able to keep it on. But here's the back of the case. It is pure black. Everything on this case is pure black. There's two holes for water cooling right there if you want to mount an external radiator. The releases for the side panels are right here. One's right there and one is right here. They're just buttons, so you just press it in and the side panel comes off just like that. And then, oh yeah, you can see the mechanism here. It's just like a little peg, and this thing moves back and forth when you press the button. And if you do that, it locks back into place. And the same for the other side. Alright, so let's look at the front right here. I'll take this off, then have to remove any plastic covering. But you just press this and then it releases. And you have here 4 USB ports, one 1394 Firewire, and then a mic and headphone jack. And then you just press it back to lock it again. Oh yeah, and the reset button is also in here. Right there. That's your reset button. And of course here's the power button and your LED. And then you have 5 slots for 5.25 inch drives. And I believe it comes with a converter for one. It might not though, in order to convert it to a 3.5 inch. And then down here you have something really cool that the 700D doesn't have, which is hot swappable hard drive base. So if I'll show you guys that later, but if you take off that, you just press and then it comes out, and then you have like 4 slots, I think, for hot swapping hard drives. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and cut this right here and show you guys all the accessories that it comes with on the inside, and then we'll go from there. Alright guys, so here's the case with basically everything taken out of it that doesn't need to be in there. So starting from the manual, we have a pretty simple quick start guide, which is basically just a list of the parts that it comes with, and it tells you what to do with each one. And not too thorough, but it's fine. And then we have a nice CPU power extension, and of course Corsair knows that their case is very large and very tall, so if you want to run a cable behind the motherboard plate all the way back up to the CPU, you might need something like this if your power splice cable isn't long enough. And then we have 4 SATA cables right here. I believe 2 of them are right angled. Let's see, this one, actually they all might be right angled. Yeah, all of them are right angled actually. So there's one straight side and one right angled side, which is really nice. If you have your hard drives or DVD drives up here and you just want the cable to go straight down, it really helps with cable managing. And they're black, of course, because Corsair wants to keep all the color scheme uniform. Alright, then we have a SATA power extension, just in case one of your PSU SATA power cables isn't long enough to reach maybe the top drive bay or something like that. Then we have a 120 millimeter fan washer. Essentially, this is just a rubber piece that goes around the fan and dampens vibrations. And here we have some different screws and zip ties. They're all black. We have these screws, which are long. I believe they go through a fan, and they're meant to attach to a radiator through the fan. And then we have these, which are normal case screws. And then we have black fan screws with the big threads that meant to go directly into the plastic. And then we have, of course, some standoffs right here. And there's a lot of them already screwed into the motherboard plate itself, so you should have plenty, even for those large motherboards. Oh yeah, and this case does support extended ATX form factors, but I don't think it supports the SR2's form factor, the one with the 2 CPU sockets. So keep in mind that you're going to have to get a different case if you want to do that. There's a few Lian Lees that are compatible with that, and I'm not so sure that there are many others. There's some custom ones, but those are kind of hard cases to find. But this one does not keep that in mind. Alright, and then we have some toolless sliders for your hard drives, I believe, that go down there in those slots. And then we have 3 nice plastic covers here just to keep all the cables out of sight. You have this one, which slides right into the bottom right here on its own little rail, and that will hide any SATA cables that come out from the bottom hard drive bays. And then we have this one right here, which covers this fan, just like that. I'm going to use 2 hands to get it in later, but that's how it looks. And then we have this one, which covers this little neat PCB, which is an extension of the hot swappable ports, and that's all your SATA cables and SATA power cables. They all lead into here, so you can cover that once you plug them in, and then you can just hot swap them from the front with no problems. And you won't have to replug cables every time. Alright guys, so that is it for the parts that it comes with. I'm going to go over the case a little bit, and I'm going to try to get some more light on it, so give me a second here. Alright, here we go. I got my desk lamp shining through there. Might be some bad shadows, but I think it'll be okay. Alright, so let's start from the bottom up, I guess. So at the bottom we have a filter. It's a very long filter, as you can see right here. And that is just to keep all the dust from the intake, and the only intake in this case is the bottom. So honestly, in my opinion, this case does not have the greatest airflow, so if you're doing like extreme air cooling, that might not be the best for you. It's actually more designed for a water cooling standpoint, but don't let that deter you if you're going to air cool it, because it's a great case either way. It's not really bad in that sense, it's just not the highest end like the half X is, I would say. So basically this fan is going to be one of your only intake fans, and it's going to draw air from the bottom here, and the PSU should be facing down and drawing air from the bottom as well. And as you can see, the case has these nice feet that offset it about 1 inch, and they have rubberized bottoms so you won't scratch up your desk. And then some air from there is drawn up here through the plastic cover, and it's blown onto the hard drives in the hot swappable bays. And then after that, the air is coming out this fan from the intake, and it's going to things like your GPU right here, and past that up to cooling your CPU and whatever else you have up there. And then at the top there are 3 120mm fan slots, and you can stick a 360 radiator there, or whatever else you might want, and more outtakes, so you have more air pulling through. And here in the back you have a 140mm fan. Again, this is 140 and this is also 140, but this one is outtake. I think we're actually going to change this around, and this is where our radiator for the H70 is going to go. This is going to be an intake, a push-pull intake, that's going to go up and essentially create like a little air zone up here that is intake here, and then expelling out the top with 3 outtake fans right there. And that way we're going to take cool air from outside the case through the radiator and just have it expel through the top. And the GPU itself should be isolated from intake from the bottom, and then the hard drives are their own thing. So I believe that will give us better airflow than if we have this as an outtake, because then the hot air from inside the case will be going through the radiator, and that's not the best. Alright, there's so much in this case to talk about. I guess I will start with the nice grommets that Corsair has right here. As you can see, they're very easy to move around. They're rubber, and you can even remove them if you want. But there's a lot of space behind the motherboard tray. And I shouldn't say motherboard tray because it's actually not removable, but there's tons of space to work behind there. The power supply has 2 grommets next to it that go to all the other ones, and then it's separated by this plate right here to isolate the air zone. And these are really conveniently placed, as you can see. Depending on your motherboard's form factor, they have them on the outside here if you have EATX, or here if you have a standard. And there's just so many options, and it's really, really easy to cable manage in this case. Alright, and then right here you have a plastic removable CPU backplate thing. So this will keep it all uniform, but if you want to replace a very large CPU heatsink and you need to get to the back of the motherboard, you can just pop that off from the back. So that's really nice that they have that. Right here they have their tool list design. You can slide these forward and backward, and that makes the pegs inside stick into the screw holes on the drives. Alright, so that's about it for the front side. I'm going to head on over to the back and show you guys what's up behind all the motherboard tray. So again, you just hit that button and then the side panel pops off just like that. I'm going to set it down here. Alright. Okay, so here's the back of your computer. You have your I/O cables coming down here, and Corsair has them nicely zip tied off right here. And there's your power LED, power button, reset switch. And again, all the cables are black, so everything is uniform. And okay, so if you see right here, this space is a lot of space for cables behind the motherboard. And there's even more than that because there's indents like behind the motherboard tray where you can route cables. So it's really nice that you have this much space. You can stick so much back there and not have a hard time sticking the side panel on again. And it just makes cable managing a breeze. And here you can see where the power cables come out of, and these are all the places that they stick in. Alright, and here's the removable plastic tray. Just pull the tab. Come on. Alright, there we go. Just comes out like that. You can have access to the back of your motherboard. And stick it in again. Just pop it in that little hook and then slide it back in. Alright. Here's the back once again. You have a lot of space up here for a radiator. And here's the start of your motherboard. Here's your outtake fan, which we're going to switch to intake. And then your 7, I believe 7, 2, 3, 4, 5, yep, your 7 is standard PCI slots. And then I guess we'll look at the front one more time. There you go, it's a nice finished aluminum bezel. Your power button, your I/O plate, 5 drives, and then I believe there's 4 hard drive spaces right there. And I'm going to go ahead and take this off for you guys so you can see what's on the inside. I want to keep that plastic on. Alright. There we go. Alright. Okay, so as you can see here, there's a nice drawer, and you have 4 spaces for hard drives right there. So in order to get them out, you just pull this, and then these, you can just yank out the drive. And they have their own little cages right here. So again, really nice design from Corsair. Looking forward to using this and cable managing in it and doing all that stuff. Alright. So I believe that's pretty much it for this case, guys. Yeah, there's not really much else to say. It's a very nice case, but again, it's super large and very heavy. So if you do things like attend LANs, may not be the best for you. Also keep in mind that it doesn't have the highest end airflow despite its high price. It's a perfect case for water cooling. There's so much space everywhere to route pumps, pipes, and all the tubes, all your fittings. You can create some of the best water cooling setups in here. Yep, it's got everything toolless except, of course, the back plate or the PCIe plates, which it is actually nicer to not have these toolless because the screws tend to hold a lot more weight and keep things in a lot more sturdy. So it's nice that Corsair has done that for us. And it's got filters wherever there's intake, easily cleanable. You just slide it out. Yep, so I'm going to stop it right there, guys, and keep looking forward to other unboxings that we're going to do for these parts. Alright, see you guys later. Hope you enjoyed this. Please rate, comment, subscribe.